What is going on, everybody? For those who don't know, I go by Philly Mike, host of the Philly Talk podcast. Today, we got a great collab coming for you, and we're live on both channels, Philly Talk podcast and Run It Back podcast. For those who don't know me on DJ Eastwood's channel, like I said, I go by Philly Mike, and go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them what we came here to do.
Yeah. DJ Eastwood, Run It Back. You already know, home of the most brutally honest Philly sports takes on YouTube. Mike likes it. Some people don't.
But yeah,
we experienced some technical difficulties. I'm working with a whole bunch of technology that I probably have no business trying to figure out. But I think we got it.
Yes, we did. And so, like I said, we're going to be talking about certain topics, and we're going to be taking live calls. As you can see on the screen, speak your mind. Speak your mind. Let us know. The phone number is up above. Don't be afraid to call. Like I said, you guys are always very vibrant in the comment section, in the chat. So now is your time to get up on here and let us know. We could talk about mainly the Ravens versus Eagles and what happened at the end of that game, and also just the blunders that we call the 2020 NFL Eagles football season. So, DJ, what is your take on just the whole season and more importantly, the way this game ended, like almost all our games?
Oh, man. Injuries, dude. It's like it's the whole NFL, really. You know what I mean? But we're getting it worse than anybody else. And it's like the second year in a row of just injuries just destroying this team. And Carson Wentz running for his life, making something out of nothing when it matters the most, which is just crazy. You look at the screen towards the end of a third quarter or something, you just kind of know this dude is going to pull something out. But it's just there's not enough. Injuries, not enough talent. It's tough, man. It's been frustrating.
Definitely, man. I agree. You know, you get to these games where it's like, you know, first quarters have been the same. I feel like I watch the same first quarter, the first couple of drives. For some reason, we keep getting the ball first. I don't know if it's the team saying we want to get ball at halftime or if it's Doug trying to get the ball, but I don't understand why we get the ball first just to go 3 and out and give it back to the guys. And then they end up scoring first, and we got to overcome them getting the ball back at halftime. It's just like a never-ending story. The Eagles don't start playing until the end of the game, and it's like Doug Peterson's situational football is the worst. I will honestly say there's times in the game where it's like, all right, nice play. And then a wowzer comes out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes I just really feel like he's just picking random plays with no rhyme or reason at all. And I don't think he documents them either. I don't think he knows what worked in the first quarter to pull it out in the third quarter or what didn't work. If he knew what didn't work. Are we taking live calls right now?
We got our first one. I guess I don't know if you want to just wait, but someone decided to call.
Well, we'll see if it works. You know what I mean? We might as well test it out. Yo. Where we at? Oh, I answered it. I didn't get anything. Anyway, yeah, man, because if he documented what worked and what didn't work, he wouldn't have tried that same 2-point conversion play at the end of the game that didn't work in the first quarter.
Correct. And for him to come on WIP and simply say straight up, like he came out and simply said that he kind of ran out of plays. he kind of ran out of plays. Like what happens if you get into a game where you're in the red zone you're inside the 5-7 times? Now that's not normally going to happen. You're going to score some outside the red zone, sometimes some in the red zone, but you can't have only 4 plays inside. And if you do listen, we did convert on a 2-point conversion to JJ Arcega-Whiteside, which not saying throw it to him, but let Carson be Carson. If Carson got you there, why would you take the ball out of his arm and put it with his legs, especially when you're RPOing with Boston Scott? Like at least Hurts had Miles Sanders in the backfield and it didn't work. I just don't get it.
I don't know. It's reminding me a lot of the Brett. It's reminding me a lot of the Brett Brown situation where he focused so much on analytics and focused so much on different packages that these guys need to go in at this time and this package is going to go on the court at this time, but didn't like tie it into what's happening in the game at all. So there would be death lineups on the floor at the worst time possible, all because he has different packages, and this guy should be this package should be out there. That's what Doug says when we talk to him about why the hell was Corey Clement on the field in the fourth quarter, the first week or whatever, and he said we have several packages. Like, bro, but you got to use the right package at the right time.
Exactly. I agree 100%. I mean, when it comes down to it, like I said, it's just getting worse and worse, and we're putting ourselves in. And the sad part is this: with all the injuries and the lack of actually getting guys on this roster that can stay on this roster and perform on this roster, for some reason, against two top teams, you're talking about a 5-1 team now and a 5-0 team. We took to the brink of beating. Ben Roethlisberger got the ball on third down, not first down, on third down, trying to convert, takes it for a touchdown and puts the game out of reach. But we were a field goal away or a drive away from winning that game, and we were legitly 2 points.
Oh, I got stuff coming through my headphones. My bad. Did you get all that audio?
Yes, that came through the screen.
All right. Well, we're going to take calls in a minute, but yeah, continue what you were saying.
Yeah, give us a couple minutes and we'll take calls. When DJ Eastwood gives you guys the go, definitely feel free to call in, though, because at the end of the day, we want to hear your mindset about this loss. And go ahead and show the Great Lakes Brewing.
This video is brought to you by Great Lakes Brewing Company.
Hey,
it's really not.
They might be the next person to call. But yeah, man. So yeah, we sit here at 1-4-1. And again, yeah, we lost to the Washington football team and the Cincinnati Bengals. It shows the inconsistencies. We lost to them worse than we pretty much lost to the Steelers and the Ravens. So it's like we kind of get up. Listen, there's one thing about this Eagles team. It got fight. The players that are on the field are going to fight. But I mean, as much as they want to fight, ultimately the play calling takes us out of what we want to do. Simple and plain.
Yeah. There's a couple things I want to say, like the lack of talent on this team and the fact that we're even competing with teams like the Ravens and these teams shows how much we could do with more talent. Like Carson Wentz dragging these nobodies and putting them in the end of the game against the Baltimore Ravens is crazy, and scoring that many points against that Pittsburgh Steelers defense is crazy. I think the first couple weeks of the season, somebody told me, and it was good, somebody told me just count this like the preseason, you know what I mean? Because these dudes are rusty. Carson was terrible the first 2-3 weeks, and maybe it was because no preseason and no offseason. I mean, that's not an excuse really, because other quarterbacks, you know, Aaron Rodgers was like, 19 touchdowns in 4 games or something, but not that many. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he was just rusty because no offseason, no preseason, and now they're kind of getting it together, and we're competing against good teams. So now I feel like we should stomp a couple bad teams out. That's what I really feel like.
Until we lose Zach Ertz and Miles Sanders, which we're going to talk about that as well. But now listen, to be honest, a lot of people are throwing this Zach Ertz thing under the bus. Now listen, don't get me wrong. He has not performed, and he's on my bad list. Don't get me wrong. However, how much of him not producing is the fact that he's still occupying one of the best defenders on the team and stuff like that, which now people are like, who cares if Zach Ertz plays or not? He's not doing nothing for the Eagles. Well, he might be if he's occupying their number one corner, a safety, double team, bracket coverage, because that is why a guy like TF13, I'm not taking nothing against him, but maybe that's why he's getting open looks or at least one-on-ones, which I'm still happy he's able to beat. The Miles Sanders thing is big because, I mean, he don't get many carries, but he's back-to-back 80-yard runs. We can use that. Yeah,
Zach Ertz being on the field definitely occupies defenders. Even if he has 0 catches, you know, the defense has to game plan against him. And now that they're game planning against TF13 too, that leaves people like John Hightower one-on-one on the outside. If he can catch a damn ball, that would be a nice matchup. But yeah, you need guys on the field that are going to occupy defenders, even if he doesn't get the ball even thrown his way, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, it's still astonishing to me that how many people come out and say, like, Carson Wentz, is he still in Philly? And I'm like, huh? Like, listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat. Like you said, the dude played horrible the first 2-3 weeks of the season. No excusing it. And like you said, Aaron Rodgers came in and balled out, but everybody's different. So yeah, he's in his 5th year. You would think he doesn't need a preseason, but I was saying this, a lot of teams like the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Saints. These guys are bringing 20 of their 22 starters back. The Eagles are a revolving door. So preseason matters to a team like the Eagles more than the Chiefs, the Saints, the Ravens, who have so much chemistry. They added a few pieces. They're still the same team of last year.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, everybody's different, man. Maybe some people need preseason. Some people can't handle not having a preseason. I don't know. Maybe Carson wasn't really working in the off season. Maybe he was up in his cabins, sitting in a tree stand shooting deer or whatever, and was like, "Oh, we're having an NFL. Oh, I got to go to practice next week." And then he just shows up rusty. You know what I mean?
Rusty, a little bit heavier too. They talked about like the dad bod and all that stuff. I thought he was a little bit bigger, but you can really see though, the first 2 weeks of the season, even 3 weeks, he did not move around in the pocket. Whether that was his decision or Doug's decision, he definitely wasn't moving. And I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson out there now, even though he had a longer run than Lamar Jackson. But the dude got fight. And at the end of the day, I want a guy on my team who's not going to give up no matter who's on the field. And like I said, I can't take nothing bad on his performance last week except for the fumble, which we know he has to clean up. He's been a guy who's been loose with the ball when he's running or in the pocket. That's my one blunder on him. But other than that, I think he's turning the corner. And he got these young guys rallied up. So that's all that matters. But the Giants got their first win against Washington. How you feel about that?
Man, Washington is god awful. Like, were we that bad week 1 that we made Washington look good? Like, because I was saying on my post game video after week 1 that this Washington team could make some noise with that defensive line, and I thought maybe we were just that terrible that game that made them look that good, because they go out and lose to the Giants. Goodness.
Yeah. That's rough. Again, there are 3 different quarterbacks in. Haskins done. Kyle Anderson got hurt. Hey, it's good to see Alex Smith playing again after that brutal injury. Shout out to him for that. Like, anybody who's told that they might not ever walk again, him suiting up is just miraculous, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You know what? I don't want to take the Giants game for granted, honestly, because it's one of those rivalries that no matter what team is good and what team is bad, it always seems to be like a battle. It's kind of like the Phillies and the Marlins, like it always goes down to the wire. It doesn't matter which team is 0-10. So, you know what I mean? The Giants might give us a little bit of a game.
Yeah. Shout out to Jim Schwartz in the chat saying, let me call. I want to talk about my defense. Hey, yeah,
is he going to impersonate Jim Schwartz on the call?
I don't know, but he's been in the chat the last couple of days. He was here since the pregame of Sunday, and he was like, "Listen, guys, I'm telling you, he's crazy. He's crazy, but it's all fun." And he kept saying, like, "See, we getting them stops." Like, he was in my play-by-play. He's been around, so funny.
All right, then the next call that comes through, I'm going to answer it. So next call that comes through, we're going to take you live.
We're going to take you live. So hit them buttons, 717-508-4148. Speak your mind. Talk about that Ravens game and them decisions at the end.
Yeah. I would like to see more bootleg. I would like to see more rollouts from. I just don't understand why it's not in a playbook. I don't understand why every single play we're dropping straight back. All right, we got someone here. Here we go. I think I got to push 1 to accept, and we should be good to go. Yo. Hello. I can hear him on the phone again, man.
On the phone again.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Hey, everybody in the chat, we got 92 people in the chat. Like I said, we came on about 5-10 minutes late, and we were messing with this number and this setup. And right before we came on, we got it to work. And
hello. You hear anybody? All right, I'm gonna disconnect it, and then we're gonna pair again. And if it doesn't work after that, we're just gonna read the live comments because I'm about to throw this damn thing out the window.
Sounds good to me. But hey, the crazy thing is that the phone call, the initial ring, comes through my screen the same way. That was the first sign to show life when we were practicing prior to being live.
Yeah, you know what? That's because it comes through my laptop too. So maybe if I just answer it on my laptop and forget the phone. Let's try that. Next person to call, I'm answering on the laptop, no phone, because that's connected to the audio board too. So I would have been fired at a radio station a long time ago.
You're out. My guy said user error.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah. I should have practiced a little. I gave myself an hour to try to set it up, and
what's up to both of you? Let's talk birds because there's plenty to talk about. Shout out to my guy, Philly Pop, channel member in the building. Yeah, definitely is. Like I said, we're trying to definitely get you guys' takes on this talk because, like I said, look, at the end of the day, the two guys at the bottom of the screen are really hampering this team. Now, as you see below my guy, DJ Eastwood is Doug Peterson, and below me is our guy, Howie Roseman, but you see him kind of hiding behind my panel, and he knows he should be hiding. I mean, the roster he continued to give us.
Well, we got the phone audio, I think. I answered it, didn't I? Hello, hello, hello.
That one I didn't hear ring.
Hello. All right. I'm done with technology for the day. I'm done with
technology for the day.
I got 3 different things ringing: my phone, my laptop, the iPad's on the floor.
But yo, wait, real quick before we quit. What did you actually do when I called you? Like, because you said press 1, but what did you press 1 on? Like
my phone. It says press 1 to accept call. All right, let me turn the Bluetooth back on. We'll try it one more time.
But yo, try to do the exact put the tablet in the exact same spot. Like, I know it doesn't matter, but at the end of the day, right now something is fishy. Just go back.
Yo, yo, yo.
Somebody called?
Oh, here we got to hit 1. Here we go. Yo, 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 Run It Back podcast. Now there's too many people calling at the same time, bro. I need a producer.
I don't hear none of the rings though this time.
No, I hit end. There's too many people calling at the same time. I don't have a screening situation. All right, give me a second here. I don't even think I can.
Oh man.
All right, we got this. Here we go. People need to stop calling first.
All right, everybody, listen. We got almost 100 people in here. Like, hold up on the call and let my guy DJ Eastwood reload.
All right, we're prepared. Next call we're taking. Wow.
Hey, shout out to Philly Take by RB. Said this what happened to Howie Roseman on draft night. Everything was messed up. He didn't know who he was drafted. He was just trying to get his Zoom back and couldn't do it and just picked Jalen Hurts.
All right. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pair the iPad because the iPad seems to be the one that wants to take calls. So I'm gonna pair the iPad and see if it works. You can go ahead and fill the air with some sports talk.
Yeah, let's get to some stuff. So Sean Brown said, "Hey y'all, love to get your takes on the rumors with Roseman. I'm not sure if you're talking about him trying to be buyers or the fact that he has say on game day. I spoke on the game day stuff. That is disgusting to me, and it has to be dealt with if that is true. Now I think all GMs have a little say of like, hey,
all right, it's ringing through the headphones, right?
Yes.
Oh, call failed.
Do it again, but it wanted to.
All right, here we go. I think we accepted one. There we go. Hello.
Yeah, Jeffrey Abraham, bro. What's up?
What is up, my guy? We got the phone call to work. Hey, I just bought this brand new iPad, so I was like, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna be real pissed.
Man, I'm so glad I finally got through. I done called y'all like 9 times, man.
I should have. I knew how to do it. Like I was telling Mike, I watched a YouTube video. It looked really easy, but clearly the guy edited out about 2 hours of troubleshooting. But yeah, we're good. Right. Go ahead, speak your piece, man. What do you think about the Eagles?
Hey man, first of all, I'm Jeffrey Abraham. I live in South Carolina, man. I'm probably the best Philly Eagles fan down this way. But let me tell you, man, we just gonna have to do better planning, man. And this coaching plan is not working, bro. We need Bill to grow some balls, man. We got to come out with a better game plan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't understand. At this point, I don't even understand what his game plan actually is from week to week.
I don't think he had one, bro.
Agreed.
He's just gonna have to look at these film of these people, what they're doing and everything, and drop a better game plan.
What do you think, Mike? Do you think it has to do with the fact that he's the offensive coordinator and he's not really one?
I think that's got a lot to do with it, bro. I think that's got a lot to do with it.
I agree. I agree with you, Jeff. Let me ask you though, if you had to pick a type OC to come into Philly next year, who's top on your mind?
Oh, he said I'm out. He hung up.
He's like, I'm out.
Well, ask the chat that question. Go ahead.
Go ahead, chat. Let us know if you had to take a OC to be in Philly in 2021. I know my guy Jalen Williams said Jim Caldwell for OC. Who would you guys got? Who's on the top of your mind? Because look, I think Doug Peterson can have say in the game plan because he obviously draws up some creative route combinations. The route combinations on some of these routes are good. It's the situational calls. Just like, Doug, we need you to be clutch on this third down. What you got for us? You know what I mean? But like, we driving down the field, there's some good stuff to it. There's some good things to, wow, I like how we got John Hightower up the seam. He opens this up. I like his route combinations. But when it comes to executing or calling a play that means something, situational, save time, like there's little time on the clock and you're running the ball, using a timeout in the Steelers game. I know it was a 3rd and 1, but you ran the ball with Miles, gained 4 yards, called a timeout. And then the next play, John Hightower had the blunder by not going out of bounds. But still, it's like situational football. Doug just calls it a play, a random play.
Yeah, it really does feel like it's random. I don't even know what else to say about it. I think the guy needs an offensive coordinator so bad. I really do. And I don't know. People are saying he needs to stop with the play calling. What do you think is going to happen the rest of the season? I don't really think he's going to give up the play calling. Oh, we got someone here.
From
Who we got? Yo.
Edwin, what's up?
How's it going?
Good. Man, I wish we get off of the coordinator from the Colts.
Yeah, me too.
What's his name again?
Quarterback coach too, man.
Yeah. Frank Reich. I said that a long time ago, and some people give me shit for it. But I just feel like ever since he left, Doug Peterson has not been good.
He took the situation out.
We look lost. It doesn't look right. And you should be one of the best teams after bye week. Horrible, the game planning.
Oh, did he leave? Oh, he left. Yeah. I really think ever since Frank Reich left, Doug hasn't been good. People get so blinded by that Super Bowl, like they just think he's immune to criticism because he won a Super Bowl. You know, how can you criticize a guy that brought the only Super Bowl to the city? We're Philly fans, bro. We want to win. We're not watching the game now, not wanting to win because we won the Super Bowl 4 years ago.
Yeah. I agree. I think the last call was a little bit lower volume than the last one. The first one was pretty good. I will say this, that, like you said, it comes down to Doug called the.
All right, here's how we're gonna do the phone calls now. We're gonna go second microphone pointed at the iPad, and we're gonna turn that second microphone up. And now the phone calls will be. That should be good. Go ahead and talk, my guy. Do me a test real quick.
Yeah.
Is that better? Is that louder?
Yeah,
there we go.
Like I said, it's struggling to watch. You know, I hear Philly Mike, I hear you guys, and you guys are like 100% right. And it seems like he's delusional. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to do deep passes when we're like hurt. He tries to do all these like plays, and then I see Pittsburgh running like simple little routes. And you know, Hightower was one of the best in college on jet sweeps, and he haven't used them on that either. Like it makes no sense to me at all. It just don't.
Yeah, what happened to his sweeps? I used to call him Doug Screenerson. He ran so many screens, and
Yeah.
I don't even hardly see him anymore.
All the misdirection is gone. Shout out to you though for pointing that out.
But man, I love that you guys are collaborating for sure. That's awesome.
Thanks, man.
Keep the good work. Man. You guys are the best.
Yeah, me and Mike communicate a lot. We don't usually stream together that much. I think we just do our own thing, and
Yeah. All right,
man.
I'll let someone else go because I could go hours and hours.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to take calls because I'm so tired of saying the same thing by myself. I need someone else to say it.
Exactly.
Thanks for the call.
But yeah, so yeah, I totally agree with you in the sense of Frank Wright was the situational guy. Like people forget that Doug called plays back when Frank Wright was here, but Frank Wright offered so much. So people can say, well, Mike, you keep saying he called plays, so why is he a big deal? He's a big deal because we're seeing where Frank Wright would have implement or at least have Doug's trust to be like, yo, Doug, this is what we're going to do. He's like, you're right. I think Doug got credit for some of his situational football, just like that.
Definitely. Yeah, Doug definitely got credit for it. All right. How's it going, man?
Awesome. John.
What's up, John? How you doing?
What's up, DJ?
How's it going, man? What's up?
All I got to say, and there's a lot to say, but all I got to say right now is I'm watching the Chiefs versus the Bills, and imagine if Carson Wentz had Stephon Diggs. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was on the table.
If he wins this game on Thursday, I don't know how anyone can criticize him after that. I mean, it's going to be him and third string O-linemen left and right, third string receivers. It's going to be like Moses and the 10 Commandments.
That's what it's looked like in the fourth quarter of that Ravens game, man.
That's what our offensive line looks like. The sea parting.
And then Doug said,
yeah.
I'm sure you caught when Doug said at WIP this morning when he was talking about, I should have called a timeout. Well, why didn't you do that?
Yeah, Mike told me about that. I actually didn't listen to that.
Horrible.
Oh my goodness, I just don't understand it. And speaking of the Stephon Diggs thing, I can't wrap my mind around why it's not like you're not getting opportunities to get good receivers in here. You know they're available, and you're just not doing anything to try to get them.
What do you think about Odell Beckham if we can get him for like a third-round pick or a fourth-round pick?
I always make the joke. I'll take the guy. I don't care if he's beating people on the sidelines, dude. I'll give him. Well, I say in one video, I'll give him. He can kick all the nets he wants. He can throw helmets. He can do whatever he wants as long as he's catching balls down the sideline. I really don't care.
I was just saying to my dad, I was like, Travis Fulgham and Odell Beckham. That's the 1-2 punch we need, right there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We do have that bright spot with Travis Fulgham. You know what I mean? And at least we're not in last year's situation where we got Mac Hollins and Nelson Aguilar and nobody looks like they're capable of doing anything, and then we got to go the whole season. At least we get to watch Travis Fulgham, even if we go 1-15. At least we get to watch a guy that can jump up and snag a ball.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. I'm wondering at this point if it's time to say Jason Kroom is better than J-Jaw.
I think so. Jason Kroom, man. Get
him involved.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, man, thanks for the call.
I think they said, I see a couple people in the chat said people that call, they said they can't hear me, which I don't think they'll be able to because I'm only coming off your screen just like medium voice most likely. So, but it's all good.
So the phone calls are louder than you.
No. They're perfectly fine. I just don't think that the phone callers, the guy on the phone can hear me.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
It's good. Take some more.
Call from
Jacob,
what's good?
what's good?
How's it going, man? Thanks for the call.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm good.
What you got for us?
But those Eagles, I can't. Every time I watch them, it's either someone's talking about Carson or someone's talking about Doug Peterson. And honestly, it's just getting tired. Doug Peterson made this horrendous call on the 2-point conversion for the tie.
Yeah.
I don't understand why he made it because we went for a RPO with Jalen Hurts for the last 2-point conversion and failed. So you think it's going to work with Carson Wentz and Boston Scott?
Yeah, I just don't get it.
I don't understand what was going through his head. Carson Wentz had a great game though, and honestly, that's all I'm watching the Eagles for now. I don't even care how the Eagles are doing. I care about how Carson Wentz is doing, and I don't want to hear anyone talking trash about him because he's greater than most quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm not with the Carson Wentz hate either, because without Carson Wentz, as bad as he's played in the beginning of the season, with this offensive line and no weapons, and to make anything happen with this team is a success for the quarterback, I feel like. So without Carson Wentz, this team's 0-6 right now, easily.
Yeah. and the just Doug Peters, we need a really different offensive coach. I don't think he can handle being head coach and offensive coordinator. It's just not working.
Yeah, I don't think so either. All right, thanks for the call, Jake. I gotta start cutting people off once they make their point, so we can reply to it and keep it moving. I feel like that's how they do it on the radio. You know what I mean?
It's that they don't get to see our face.
Well, yeah, the play call with Boston Scott is crazy to me, because that goes back to his whole packages thing. Like, he's not really considering the player or the matchup or anything. He's just putting a package in there. Like, Boston Scott's not going to get through that defensive line. What would make you think he is?
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was waiting for your.
The best thing is just to look. I had faith in Doug at that last point just because of the way the momentum was going. I should have known better at that point. But I was like, watch, we got to roll Carson out, or at least 5 receivers said it, because at the end of the day, when you do that, you can identify where the blitz is coming and all that stuff. So Carson can, prepare, because he knew he was going to get blitzed. Or even if they send 4, Jamon Brown was straight. I mean, that was the worst performance ever. Did you see the thing on Twitter?
You showed, yeah. I saw the one you showed, yeah.
But they got a 3-piece. It calls one. He gets thrown to the side, and he actually just like, I ain't never seen a guy hit that size get thrown 5-10 yards, right? That's the first one. The second one is he blocks his guy, but there's other guys coming for Carson Wentz, and he stops to fix his glove. And the last one was the one you saw where he got a half a sack on Carson.
Yeah, I just want to let everyone know the calls are coming in one after the other. So while we're talking, I'm literally hitting the red button. So if you get hung up on, just keep calling back. And then when we're going to take a call, we'll just take one, and whoever it is, that's who it is. So don't feel like, you know what I mean? People are putting in the comments right here, it says caller unavailable. Like, yeah, that's just me hitting the red button while we're talking. And then I'm going to hit the green button when we want to take a call. That's kind of how I have to do it.
Hey, that sounds good. Like you said, hey, this is all the first time try. So shout out to DJ Eastwood for not giving up. You should have seen him backstage. He was getting impatient. I
was mad. All right, we got another one.
Call from.
Oh, call failed. That said call failed. All right, that one failed. I don't know why. He got T-Mobile.
Boost.
Anyway, what do you think our chances are of any of these? The dude you were just talking about, that okay, here we go.
Call from.
Oh, wow, that's, you can't even hear what he said, and then it said call failed, so he doesn't have good service. The dude, the offensive lineman, I don't even know his name, the third stringer, whoever that was.
I'll learn his name because he's not playing much more. He shouldn't, even though that Doug said he's going to start still. Jamon Brown.
Yeah, Jamon Brown, man. Wow. I mean, I know you're a third stringer, but you're still in the NFL. You still know how to play offensive lineman, right? This is getting a little too crazy for me to handle, honestly. I need a screening process. I need an assistant to be like, yeah, your audio's okay or whatever.
Yeah, you definitely got a lot going on. It's a lot hard to do. See, like, again, you got to think a radio station has so many buttons and so many, like, makes it so easy peasy where it's like, bang, bang, here you go. And like you said, they could bang on the guy quickly because, again, they don't see them. We're a little different with the podcast face to face.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, man. But, yeah, at the end of the day, look, it comes down to, do you think this team can reel off some wins from what you've seen player-wise, fight-wise from the players, if for some way coaching can kind of step to the side, which is going to be, a very tough task.
We're gonna try one
Call
more.
from
Oh, call failed. All right, I'm probably gonna turn off the phone now. We're just gonna read some comments because it's driving me nuts.
We can always do that, and we can always just straight the. Hold up.
Thank you guys for the phone calls. Thank you for participating in my attempt at taking live phone calls on a live stream. I will do more research, watch more YouTube videos, figure out better ways to make this happen. But it is a cool thing to be able to have people call in and give their perspective and then reply to it.
I agree 100%. So let's get to some of these comments. And then, like I said, before we get to these comments, how do you feel about the next 3 games, which is the Giants, Cowboys, bye week, and Giants?
Giants, Cowboys, bye week, Giants. Yeah. Are they playing right now? The Cowboys are playing right now.
They play after the Bills and Chiefs. They play Monday night. There's 2 games tonight.
Okay, yeah. See, I don't even know if I want to give a perspective until I see Andy Dalton in this offense, honestly. I said they're done when I saw Dak get hurt, and I totally forgot they signed Andy Dalton. And honestly, Andy Dalton might be just as good as Dak Prescott.
Yeah, you want to hear my take on this? Because I actually haven't said it in front of Eagle fans, but this is how I feel about it until I'm proven wrong, which hopefully I'm proven wrong tonight. But I think they're not going to be as flashy as with Dak, but I think they might be better. And people are like right away, he's not better than Dak. Dak was thrown for 500 yards. This is what I'm saying. In 2016 and 17, when Dak and Zeke were rookies, they went 13-3. It was Zeke's team and Dak game managed. Now, yes, Dak's numbers didn't look as good as it was now, but they were winning games. I think they got too pass heavy. They got away from Zeke, and I'm afraid that with Andy Dalton, they're going to dial down the passing, even though they got 3 good receivers. They start running more. The pass game's going to come off play action, and next thing you know, this team starts to look a little bit better. Their defense even gets better because now the run game is chewing up the clock. The defense has time to get healthy, and so I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I think they can go back more run first, and that might help them. And I want to see how tonight plays. Hopefully McCarthy don't know how to run the ball, and he just passes, because that could be a recipe for success for them.
It could be, but yeah. But if they're forced to run the ball, I feel like, I do feel like we still have one of the best defensive lines in football. So I think that could work to our advantage if their only strength is running the ball. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for us. I'm just saying, like, you've seen how so far this year, Dak's thrown for 500 each game, but they're 1 win higher than us. You know what I mean? I think they'll tailor down the stats, but start being able to beat other teams that are more run deficient. And we still got the tougher schedule when it comes out. We still got the Saints, the Packers, the Seahawks on our schedule.
Yeah. Nina, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to do some more research, try to get it to work better. Honestly, I didn't know if people would dial the number and even call in. I didn't know how many people we were going to get in the stream. And then it was legit just call, and there was nothing I could do. So there's got to be a better way. Or I just have to set up a voicemail box and people can call in, leave a message, and then we'll play the message and reply to it. That's probably what's going to happen, because the 1,000 live calls at the same time isn't even possible.
Yes, so he said, Philly Mike and DJ, what do you think about bringing in Jim Harbaugh? I think he has a year left on his contract. He knows how to build on offense. That's the brother of the one who just beat us.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think the thing that I think is that they're not going to fire Doug Peterson anytime soon. I don't think he's on the hot seat at all, even though all of Philly media is blasting him every week. All of YouTube is blasting him every week. Everybody on Twitter is blasting him every week. Not that Twitter has any significance, but Philly hates him right now. Like, but I don't know if that means he's going to get fired.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think as much as Philly's calling for him, and again, I think Philly still just got that little bit of glimmer like you did win the Super Bowl, but when you watch him on Sunday, you're like, where is that? It's definitely... It's a what have you done for me lately? And right now, he's been part of the reason why we're losing. Simple and plain. Now, he's going to get the same excuses that Carson gets when he goes to Jeff Lurie and Howie Roseman, which Howie Roseman should be on the hot seat, let alone. But he's going to say, Jeff, how you expect me to play with all this bad roster construction, which is not my fault, all these injuries. And now Jeff might be blinded by that and say, yeah, well, if I'm Jeff, I'm going to say, I know that's all bad, but why'd you RPO on the 2-point conversion? You know what I mean?
That's the thing about owners. Do you think an owner really knows enough about football to ask a question like that? You know what I mean? Like, teams are bad for so long because ownership doesn't really know what's good and what's bad. They're just looking at their, it's an investment property at the end of the day. They're just looking at their bottom line. Hey, we're selling tickets. Looks good to me. I'm going to go back to Cabo and sit on the beach. I don't give a damn about this.
Yeah, I agree. And that's where it's scary. And like I said, look, I think, and we're never going to get an OC. Listen, we're never going to get an OC really in here if we don't allow them to call plays or at least be part of the game day planning for that. And when you talked about rolling Carson out and bootlegging him out, we bought Rich. I can never say his last name, so I'm just going to say Richie Rich. We brought him in here to do that. That's what he came in. His whole mantra was like, he's the guy who designs a lot of bootlegs, a lot of rollouts.
Yeah, there's none. There's none, man. I don't know. I don't know if it's a power struggle. I don't know. But Howie Roseman should definitely be on the hot seat. I don't know how anybody could look at the things that he just didn't do in the offseason. I mean, you neglected the linebacker position. You knew you were neglecting it. And now it's the worst linebacking core in the NFL. Everybody knew that was going to happen. How are you managing a team and you don't know how important linebackers are?
Hold up, Eddie. We stopped taking calls.
Yeah, we stopped taking calls. I'm sorry, man. It was I got to get a better situation. It was way too many calls at the same time. I couldn't answer them. Then I had 2 or 3 going at the same time. You know when your phone says like incoming, do you want to hang up on this one? And the screen was so crazy, and but it was fun while it lasted. People are still calling.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, "Forget it. I'll just call your house line."
I don't have a house line,
but that's why. Look, I changed the background, so hope the number. I mean, they must have the number. They wrote it down. It's saved. It's saved. It's speed dial number 1. Now, but listen. Shout out to everybody in here. Shout out to everybody in here. We got 115 people in here, and again, it might not say that where you're watching, but we're live on 2 different channels. Thank you guys for sticking with all these difficulties, the technical difficulties, and shout out to DJ Eastwood for bringing that up there. Like I said, the only person who really takes calls is Broads, but he got the recorded cards, and shout out to Broads as well doing his thing over there.
Yeah, I mean, you might have to go with the recorded route because you can't take that many calls at the same time unless you have a whole team of people screening calls and sending people through, and it's just too chaotic. So let's check. Let's look at some comments here, man. Somebody said fire Doug and promote Deuce Staley. Is Deuce still the running back coach?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I don't know. If last year he was making the calls, then I say no because they were horrible, but maybe it was Doug Peterson making the calls on the running backs. But I remember last year or the year before, Darren Sproles coming off an injury. We just traded for Jordan Howard and drafted Miles Sanders. Yeah, last year. And the first series of the season is Darren Sproles.
Mm-hmm.
Run. And we're like, where's the kid we drafted? Where's Jordan Howard?
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. And it didn't make sense the whole year. I mean, his running back rotations were totally random. So
yeah,
that was Deuce Staley. I say no.
The only time that I really was like, wow, I think he did perfect with the running back situation was the Jay Ajayi, LeGarrette Blount year. I think he used that. That was great. The way he mixed Jay Ajayi, LeGarrette Blount, and Corey Clement in that year. But besides that, like you said, we got Jordan Howard. We were hyped. We were hyped for Miles Sanders, and the first 4 runs were Darren Sproles at 34. Like, what?
Yeah, off a torn Achilles, I think, or ACL or something.
Yeah, but yeah, go ahead.
Angry Joker, thanks for the super chat. He says, Kavon is injured now. I'm so peed off. Kavon Wallace is injured. I didn't even hear that.
Well, yeah, he left with like a shoulder. He was holding his arm. I think it was his shoulder. I didn't get the update for what actually happened. I only heard about the Miles Sanders. They did that information. Zach Ertz out for 3 to 4 weeks. Miles Sanders for 1 or 2 weeks. But yeah, Kavon Wallace, can we stay healthy? That's just
we're gonna run out of players. We're gonna run out of
video and what happens if we keep do we have to forfeit if we can't get an 11-man on the field?
It's unbelievable now. It's every week. Didn't Jack Driscoll go down yesterday too?
Somebody named Toth, number 64. He was like the skinniest offensive lineman I ever seen in my life. His name was Toth. I didn't know he was on the roster.
He was probably like a fifth practice squad tight end or something. They just threw him at right guard or left guard.
I think he was on the staff and went into the locker room and just changed into gear and then came back out. Was like, I got you guys.
He was the biggest staff member. He's like 6'2", so he's still small for an NFL lineman.
Yeah, but like, do you again? Like you said, we can't take the Giants game lightly because it's a rival game. They always want to throw it in our face, and we've been inconsistent. Like again, if we come out and let them jump to a 17-3 lead, 17-7 lead, I mean, we can't always rely on Carson to come back and just put the team on his back. And it starts with, I think Doug is horrible to start. He's horrible to finish. He makes it up in the middle, but it's not enough. It's not enough. That's where he needs somebody in his ear.
No, yeah, I couldn't believe that we started that game with a deep drop in the pocket for a sack. That's unbelievable to me that you would start that game like that. How did you game plan all week? You knew what was going to happen. We can't drop back in the pocket. This is a great defensive line. And the first play you drop, I don't understand if it's Carson doing it, just dropping back too far and holding the ball. Oh, I don't know, man.
Oh yeah. I agree 100% with you. Shout out to CW Gearhead for the $20 super chat. He said, by the end of the season, our team is going to be held together with duct tape and chewing gum. Hey, I think we're at the duct tape part. The chewing gum is right around the corner. Right around the corner. Shout out to you, my guy. I agree. And the sad part is we took a Super Bowl contender to the brink with, what did that guy say his first name was? Bubba O2? Brett? I can't say his last name, so it's Toth or I don't know.
Toth. Wow, Brett Toth. Yeah, I didn't even see that guy on the field. What was he playing? Guard?
Right tackle.
Wow. Brett Toth, yep. There he is, man. I want to see his Wikipedia page here.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Angry Joker for the $4.99 super chat. He said, do you guys think with a healthy team next year, you think we can win the Super Bowl?
Yo, this is funny, though. Brett Toth is a United States Army instructor. He's an Army instructor at Arizona State University.
And
he's like a part-time football player.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He got his classes he's off on Sunday due to coronavirus, so he can play football.
That's wild.
Hey, that's crazy. But hey, shout out to Angry Joker. Listen, every year we go into the season, if we could stay healthy, I think we could compete minus the coaching staff blunder. So we go into the next year's season with a new coaching staff or something that's going to change it and stay healthy. Why not? But until we can see it, I can't talk Super Bowl right now. I just want to win another game.
Yeah. Last year, Mike Groh, we wanted him to be fired, but that didn't mean we wanted Doug Peterson to take his place. We wanted you to fire him and get a new offensive coordinator. So we're right back where we were. I mean, it's not any better than it was.
Let me ask you this, though. When we all know that Doug Peterson came out and simply said, that Mike Groh and Carson Walsh will be back next year. I like what they did. Less than 24 hours later, Doug went back out and was like, actually, they're fired.
Yeah.
That definitely right there shows you that Howie did one of these, called him in his office, was like, no, they're not going to be here. So I think he felt some resentment for that. He said, okay, I'm going to be the OC. Howie said, well, you know what? I can't press him because I think Jeff Lurie likes both of them. And they're like, it's like a tug of war against them. And what Howie did is went out and got Marty Morningway and Rich Gandrinello so he could try to get guys that he trusts to help Doug. But it's just a whole thing that's not working.
Yeah, there's still people calling. Just for anyone that knows, we stopped taking phone calls. It's just too many calls at the same time, and everything's going crazy. Yeah, I don't know who's in charge. I don't know who's making the decisions. Is it Howie Roseman? Is it Doug Peterson? There was talk that Howie Roseman or some ownership people or upper front office people had a say in Mac Hollins playing as long as he did last year, or had a say in J.J. Arcega-Whiteside being on the field as long as he was without producing because they used the draft pick on him. Like, if owners and front office guys are demanding somebody plays because they had a hand in drafting him, then this is a disaster. Like, all that needs to stop. You need one guy, one football mind in charge of the thing.
This is a good question. Do you think we should be buyers or sellers at the deadline? If so, who do you think we should trade for or trade?
I think Howie's going to pull something at the deadline as out of a panic move because he realizes, how much he messed up in a draft. Honestly, you should trade Jalen Hurts. Not a knock on Jalen Hurts. He might be able to play an NFL quarterback. There's some teams that might want a quarterback. I think as bad as this team is, why would you want 2 starting caliber quarterbacks if he is a starting caliber quarterback?
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, people act like we're saying Jalen Hurts can play. It's not that. I just believe he's not going to be better than Carson Wentz at this point. So it's like, if you think we're a quarterback away, you're not watching the O-line, the other wide receivers, the play calling, the defense at times. Shout out to Jim Schwartz who's in here. All that stuff.
Yeah. So what you're saying is call a 710. Yeah. I got to get a whole screening process going on before I take phone calls.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to the people who called. And like I said, we still got a $120 something in here. Yeah, like I said, a lot of people are saying sellers. Listen, if we drop the Giants game and the Cowboys, say we lose back-to-back to the Giants and the Cowboys, well, then there's no reason for Howie to buy anything. You got to sell. You got to really look at the Zach Ertz thing, which is funny now that you can't really sell guy because he's out for a month. And it's going to be right around the trade deadline. So how do you move him? I don't think you can do that. You can't move an injured player. So,
yeah. Visual Mocash says the OL is a problem, and that's it. And you know what, man? Good teams with good offensive teams with good offensive linemen are usually good teams. So maybe it's just the offensive line. Maybe you somehow fix that or get that mediocre. It's not even mediocre at this point.
Yeah, you're right. And again, like you said, how do you feel about this going forward? When we get Jalen Reagor back, you got TF13 at the X position, Jalen Reagor at the Y position, Dallas Goedert as your starting tight end for the future. I'm not saying Zach Ertz is done, but Dallas Goedert and Greg Ward Jr., who I don't think is a world beater, but he just knows how to fit in the cracks underneath routes. And you see his route running getting pretty better. He's doing them. He's taking hard cuts and slants. I think that is a solid offensive repertoire for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Greg Ward Jr. is that kind of possession receiver that needs a guy on the outside, 2 guys on the outside, like Jason Avant back in the day, if you remember him, when we had Deshaun Jackson and Jeremy Maclin on the outsides, and he was just catching over everything underneath and over the middle. I think Greg Ward Jr., if there's good guys on the outside making plays, Greg Ward can do his thing underneath and on the short routes and all that.
Yeah, and I think that's a promising future. You're talking about TF13 being only a year or 2 in. You're talking about Reagor being a rookie. You're talking about Greg Ward being young, Dallas Goedert's young, and then your backup guys who come in sparingly is John Hightower, who he has a great route tree to him. Again, you can't call him Nelson Aguilar, which everybody is. He's called Nelson Hightower. Yes, that broke my heart. I'm doing a live play-by-play, and it broke me because how perfect it was dropped in the breadbasket. But he is a rookie. He's a 5th rounder. It's not like he's a 1st round, but you got to see he's getting separation. I like that.
Definitely. Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least when he was one-on-one on the outside, he was getting separation. Last year we had nobody getting separation all season long, so it's nice.
Look at the I pulled up.
It's my fault.
Look who it is. Why did they do this?
Mike, the offense is still bad, but we don't want you back, bro.
Yeah, sorry, bro. Yeah, that junk's funny. But the thing is, because when they come in here as these people, they talk in the first person, like if it's really them.
Yeah, nicely done. It might be the same guy making separate accounts just to do it.
Yeah, it's still hilarious.
Shout out to Gerald for the super chat, super sticker. He didn't put a message with it, but it's a super sticker. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. But yeah, man, So did Voldemort. Yeah, that's what they call him. They're trying to speak his name, number 13, the old 13. But there's a new 13 in town. Definitely a new 13 in town. But like you said, biggest things. Do you think anybody on the coaching staff, and on Howie Roseman gets let go before the season's over? Or do you think Jeff Lurie's a guy who's going to just evaluate it all and make decisions after?
Yeah, I think Jeff Lurie doesn't do that kind of thing. I said that, though, when Chip Kelly was running the team into the ground and he fired him on the spot, because I really think that Chip Kelly thing was like a heated argument in Jeff Lurie's office. You know what I mean? And he was like, I'm the owner, bro. You're talking to the wrong one. Now you're out of here. Like, I really think that's what happened. But no, I don't think, unless there's a heated argument and they scream at each other, I don't think he's going to fire anybody on the spot.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But when Chip got fired, it was like, what, week 13-ish?
Yeah. And it was just after there was rumors that they were going to wait till the end of the season and they weren't going to fire him. Then all of a sudden it's like, bam, Chip Kelly's fired.
Hey, shout out to Von Talks podcast. On my quick video where I was kind of promoting this and I just did a quick injury, I was like, this man Corey Cement. Oh, my bad. I meant Clement.
People say you can't say names, so they don't know if you were joking or if you really said it like that.
Exactly. That's why I did it. I'm horrible with names. Horrible.
Corey Cement, man. You say that because he looks like he's running in cement?
Bro, he averaging 2.5 yards a carry.
Yeah. So another guy that Super Bowl year was just magic. And it was just none of those guys were good after that. None of them.
Yeah. But somehow Nick Foles is still that guy. Even though he's 4-1, 5-1. So shout out to Nick Foles and the Bears. But like you said, it was a run. It was a run. Look at Corey Clement, my guy. He's not getting a boatload of production, but when he's in there, he's legitly averaging 2.5 yards. We're making fun of Boston Scott not being productive, but I think he's still around 4.1. He's still averaging 4 yards a carry. He's not getting many carries. 2.5? That's bad.
Yeah, that's bad. Can we get Trent Cole out of retirement for linebacker? Yeah, man. I want Takeo Spikes and Ike Reese.
Yeah. Jeremiah Trotter.
Yeah. Yeah, that was some. I just miss those guys that were they were trying to knock somebody's head off every time they snapped the ball, man. Jeremiah Trotter almost got kicked out of a Pro Bowl. You remember that? Because he was hitting people, and they were like, "Yo, you got to stop hitting people, bro. It's just a Pro Bowl."
Yeah.
That guy was an animal, man. And
you need that energy.
I haven't seen a Philly linebacker in a long time.
Exactly. And that's the sad part. It's like, look, I understand that the league is going passing, but you can still do stuff with your linebackers. Like, they're just like the guy who brings the energy. And listen, Jim Schwartz's system really requires linebackers. Whenever you got a team that's going to play a wide 9, you count on your linebackers to fill them gaps.
Absolutely. That's what doesn't make sense about him not going after any linebackers.
And that's where, is it him not doing it or is it Howie? And that's why the blame game is getting hard to do, because all these contradicting reports.
No, that's what I meant. I meant Howie going after linebackers. Like, does Howie know what his defensive coordinator's style even is? I don't get it.
Yeah. And like I said, a lot of people were still Howie guys because, again, we got a Super Bowl a couple years ago, and you look at the fact that Joe Douglas used to be that scapegoat for Howie. Well, there's no scapegoat now. It's totally Howie. And listen, I know a lot of people in the comment section were saying this, and a lot of people say it on Twitter because Justin Jefferson had back-to-back 300-yard games, and he's up there with some highly talked about wide receivers to be a rookie with 3 back-to-back 100-yard games. However, Jalen Reagor, I think, is going to be good. I liked him out of TCU. I think he's going to be good. So I don't want to – people are saying, we're trusting the same guy who picked J.J. Arcega-Whiteside over Metcalf. Can that be Jalen Reagor and Jefferson? I say no, because I see too much in Reagor already.
Yeah. Just it's almost like these injury things aren't even is it a curse? It's got I don't know, man. Like, people that the football gods hate Philadelphia. There's just nothing. I just don't understand how every single player. Jalen Reagor did not have an injury history, really, in college, high school, nothing. If you look at it, he never missed significant time with injuries.
Yeah.
Comes to the Eagles and injures his thumb in week 2.
Exactly. After rushing back for the shoulder thing, talking about he wasn't going to be here for week 3 to week 3, comes back just to get a thumb. But like, yo, you're right. Listen to this. Again, we know Deshaun Jackson's old, and I heard you say he couldn't stay healthy in Tampa. You know, the funny thing is, though, he played double digits at least. So I'm not saying he was healthy in Tampa, but you go from playing double digits to can't play more than a game and a half. You're talking about Jordan Howard, never missed time for the Bears. A stinger kept him out for 7-8 weeks.
Yep.
Jordan, Malik Jackson, never missed time. First game, first signing, out for the season. A guy like Jordan Hicks, who couldn't stay healthy in Philly, he hasn't missed a game for Arizona. Like, it's just been a endless cycle of.
Yep. I mean, you know, it's the same thing with any Philly sports team, man. You know, Jeremy Grant was just dunking on people in the NBA Finals, or the Western Conference Finals, or whatever. But either way, the Sixers trade players for nothing, and they go and they play good. The Eagles get rid of players for nothing, they go and play good, or they don't have injuries, they come here, they get injured. It's just.
Oh, shout out to the linebacker for the Ravens who's playing significant minutes, LJ Fort.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about what was I gonna say, man? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna read this whole thing because about Max Kellerman. It's big, and Max Kellerman stay hating on Carson. I mean, at this point, I'll watch a little bit, but I don't take anything he says to heart.
Nah, Max, I can't stand that show. I really can't, man. If it's not Stephen A just screaming nonsense, and then Max Kellerman gets on here and he's just like, he tries to sound so educated, and he doesn't know anything about what he's talking about. And when they start talking about Carson Wentz having a bad game, you can see him start to smile in the background. He's so excited to talk about it because Carson had a bad game. And I'm like, I'm not going to listen to this guy. This is just, no.
Hey, yo, Eddie said, yo, Eastwood hit my cell. We could collab on a new Eagles rap mixtape.
What's up, Eddie? Eddie always comments on my videos and tells me to spark up. I think he thinks I spark up all the time. I really don't. I just look. This is how I look. I am totally sober. I'm drinking beers, but you know.
Yeah. It was also Howie who discovered Travis Fulgham. We can't just look at the negative. Yeah, here's the thing, though. We picked him up to be a body in training camp, and we didn't discover the talent because we kept him a body in camp. He only got discovered because of injury. So, I mean, yeah, you got to look at some of the good stuff. And I'm not saying Howie's just a total disaster, but where I start to get upset with Howie is because we constantly see draft picks not perform. And that's one thing about a football team. There's a salary cap, a heavy salary cap. This ain't baseball. This ain't basketball. Basketball has a salary cap, but it's a light one. If you don't hit your rookies for a couple years, well, then you have a team of free agents. You're over the cap, and you just got to keep starting over. You got to build from your rookies, and we haven't seen it. Now, listen, I'm okay, but also what's getting me on Howie is because I'm not Howie versus Doug, but you got Doug as your head coach. Until he's not the head coach, you got to let him be game day oriented. You can't say, I want this, you want this, I want this. It's just a tug of war, and it's more to prove a point, not to win football games. It's like Doug wants to be right, Howie wants to be right, and in the process, we're taking L's.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Travis got thrown on the field because, you know, we were running out of players, and he ends up being good. It's like, oh my goodness, look at this guy. How did everybody miss him? Gerald says, why can't Wentz practice to release the ball faster instead of trying to get the deep ball? Love you guys. I put that on play. There's no 3-step drops, quick outs, quick slants. These are like 5, 6, 7-step drops deep in the pocket when you know we have the worst offensive line we've probably ever seen. So it's just ass backwards play calling to me. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. I would love to see 3-step drops. I would love to see running backs in the flat. I don't know. Do you think maybe he thinks these offensive linemen can't move fast enough to run a screen? You know what I mean? Or something like that.
Yeah, I mean the Eagles have been a screen game under Andy Reid. He gave it to Doug Peterson. It hasn't been there. It hasn't been there. These guys can't move. Listen, we got one starter on there, and Jason Kelsey is he's still at the level where he can get it done, but he's still the aging Jason Kelsey. He's not the same. Is he still the best guy we got out there? Yes, but man, this offensive line has to be probably one of the worst, and if not the worst. There's spots on it that is in dead last. I think PFF had a rating. What Jamon Brown did, I don't think you can ever get worse than that. I think they said he had 9 hurries, 4 or 5 hits, 2 sacks allowed. So it doesn't get much worse than that.
No, it doesn't. I don't know how people can talk negative about Carson Wentz after what I saw yesterday. I mean, just getting hit in the chest every single play and getting back up, and the next, like, how is somebody's body even strong enough to take all those hits and keep playing the game? I don't know.
Somebody who's injury prone.
Yeah, exactly. He would have been injured by now. No, there was somebody watching the game behind me when I was watching it, and they said something like, put Jalen Hurts in. And I didn't respond because I didn't want to have an argument with this guy. But it's usually people that are like a fan of the team, like yay Eagles, but they don't really know too much about the intangibles of the game. They're just like, oh, we're losing. Bench Carson Wentz. They don't really know exactly what goes into all that.
Yeah, because like they say, and then their point is the O-line's not there. We're like, that's why we got to put Hurts in. He's faster. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So he's going to run every play. He's not going to stand back and throw the ball. Like, you got to run actual plays. And it comes down to when people really say about Carson Wentz, when they talk about the fumbles and some stuff like that, okay, I'll give you that. But again, you just talked about him getting hit. Look at this. Now, shout out to Aaron Rodgers, who's having a great year, but this man played against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He was hit 11 times and sacked 4 times. Now, the great Aaron Rodgers was taken out of his game. He looked crazy. He looked dizzy. He was beat up. He threw 2 interceptions because the pressure. This man was hiking the ball and just trying to get it out of his hands quick because of the pressure. So if you're telling me 11 hits and 4 sacks rattles an all-time great, this guy Carson got hit 16 times and 6 sacks, and he was still able to keep his composure. So a lot of it goes into it. Like you said, after the 14th hit, the 15th hit, you're tired of standing back there delivering, but he continues to do it.
Yeah, and it's because he's mobile enough still to make that happen. Somebody like Nick Foles, that game would have been 45-0. You know what I mean? He would have been getting hit. That would have been an absolute disaster without a quarterback that can escape those pressures like Carson Wentz can.
Facts. It's at this point where it's like, I do a pregame and I do that stuff. I try to get on and do a postgame live. And I used to do just postgame videos, which is cool because my comment section will be loaded with negative stuff. It's cool. But now it's like I get on a postgame and it's like everybody's like, why are we still playing Wentz? I'm like, seriously, bro? If you came out that game talking about Wentz, then you're just obviously just
I don't get it. I don't. Yeah, well, somebody said to me yesterday, Carson Wentz used to audible a lot more than he does. You know what I mean? And I remember last year or the year before, there was rumors that he was arrogant, and there was rumors that he didn't listen to the coaches, and all this stuff that he was a selfish player and guys in the locker room didn't like him. So now I feel like he takes a step back, like, all right, I'll listen to you guys then. Go ahead. We'll run whatever you call. And we end up with Boston Scott RPOs on the goal line against the best defense in the league. Like, Carson, listen to me. Go back to calling the plays, please. I don't care what anybody says to you.
Yeah, facts. Shout out to Philly Take with RB. Definitely go check his channel out. Great Eagles and Sixers content creator. He said, look at all the draft picks over the last 4 years. Then look at how many have actually panned out or been decent. Yeah, I mean, we're just stuck in that level, and that's why we're going to be in trouble in 2021. We don't really realize how big a trouble we're going to be in because we were in trouble when the cap was normal, but the cap is going to probably take like a $30 million hit. It's going to go from like 200 to like 172 because of coronavirus. So a team that was already kind of hurt, but the one thing that how we can do good is restructure and get it under control. Now you're talking about an extra 30 million because of COVID-19. He knew we were going to be in this predicament in 2021, but he feel like he could finagle it. Well, now you got to finagle it to a whole new level, and you have to finagle his job, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing that might help him is that, if he can get Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey off the books, you're not really paying a wide receiver. You know what I mean? You could have a whole wide receiver core that you're not really paying big money for a couple years at least.
Exactly. And listen, I was saying this, no matter what Alshon or Deshaun does in the whatever how many games they play, whatever they do, I don't care if Alshon comes back and gets back to back 100-yard games. There's nothing that's going to let us keep him for the simple fact his age, his money. He could have the last 4 games of the season, all 100-yard games, take us into the playoffs and still be that guy. There's no way we can bring both Alshon or Deshaun back. I don't care if they are the best player for the second half. It's just impossible when it comes to dollar bills.
I don't even see it happening with Alshon at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, even if he did do that, it's that impossible.
I'm actually convinced that Alshon is so mad that we chose Wentz over Foles that he's trolling the organization. He's just taking the money and he's just faking injuries. If he had a foot injury that was supposed to be healed, right? Then the next week we're expecting him to play and he has an illness. And then the illness is over and he has the foot injury again. Was it the same foot injury or did he trip and fall in his house while he was ill? None of it makes sense.
It doesn't. And it's getting, listen, the worst thing, I hate listening to Doug Peterson say guys are day to day. Like he says it like he believes they have a shot to play. And we all know dang well day to day means death.
Yeah. Yeah. This season is just the injuries are just bad all across the league in this season because there's no, without preseason and without the full off season, you know what I mean? It's a physical game, man. It's hard on your joints, your ligaments, everything. You can't just jump up and play football. So guys are just going down left and right. I got 4 fantasy teams. 2 of them are absolutely destroyed with injuries. I got 4 guys on IR on one team: Chris Carson, Christian McCaffrey, whoever else, man. It's crazy.
I agree with you. But shout out to Philly Fresh, another great Eagles content creator, part of the Battle Birds podcast. He said, that is crazy that Carson has no help, but people want to talk about a fumble and an INT that didn't happen. Oh, yeah, because Max was screaming that the guy should have intercepted it. Did he intercept it, though? No. Like, look, when it comes to people coming at Carson Wentz, I can't wait for the Eagles to get on a little run and or something magical happens where we're not asking for guys to be great. We're just asking for guys to be healthy so they can possibly be great. But I'm telling you, in the next couple weeks, when we start, coming into ourselves, preferably because we have an easy schedule, or next year, I don't want to hear everybody like, oh, yeah, Carson, because either if Carson's on the Eagles or another team, if we can put B+ talent around Carson, he's going to come back. It's going to happen. You see the tools.
Absolutely. I feel bad for him because I feel like he's spending years of his prime just getting beat down, and I hope it doesn't take an effect on his body in the long run because this is just not a good situation for him to be in. Some quarterbacks get drafted and have a good team their whole career and never have to deal with getting hit 19 times in a game. Yeah, Philly take with RP. No, actually, I was very irrational, and I've had several discussions with certain people. Broads is one of them actually, and he's opening me up to understanding that there's a lot more issues going on than just Doug Peterson. I personally think Doug Peterson is terrible. I don't know what he does good. He's a terrible play caller, game planner. But there's so many people telling me like, well, you need an offensive coordinator. You need people underneath of him that can. Then what does he actually do then? You understand? People keep saying the head coach is just there to rally the guys. Like what?
Nah, look, the head coach, he makes the final says and stuff. But like, if you get a legit head coach who has a legit defensive coordinator and a legit offensive coordinator, there's still what side are you minded on? Like Bill Belichick was a defensive coordinator who became a head coach, and so he still has say in the offense, but he lets Josh McDaniels be him. And when he does offer his advice, it's on the defensive side most likely. And same thing, we could have Doug have an OC in here who calls the plays, but Doug can offer insight and say, I want you to run these type of packages because I see something on the weak side of this defense, which I think he can do. Like I said, if you look at the game in a vacuum, Doug has plays where when you watch, you're like, wow, watch the replay, watch the all 22. I love the route combination. Doug put that together at that part of the game. It was beautiful. It got us a 20-yard first down, but it's the situational football that he can't do. Timeouts are getting like Andy Reid-ish. Crunch time plays, the lack of running the ball. Like, listen, there was one time in a couple games ago, he ran the ball 5 straight times. It's like, well, now you could mix in a play action. So it's like he does things out of sorts, and he just has to get someone under him who can help that. And it's just little things. But the main thing is still our O-line. It really is that bad where it changes everything because now he's having to send max protection. He's having Zach Ertz block, who's not running routes. He's having the other tight end chip. He's keeping Miles Sanders in.
Yeah. No, I think it'll end up being a fire Howie Roseman shirt before Doug Peterson, honestly. Like, I think Doug's a terrible play caller, but Howie Roseman is really the one that has set this team up for failure, 3 years in a row now.
That's true. And that's what people used to say the bright spot of the Eagles were. Because a lot of people, like a Colin Cowherd says, it all starts with GM, head coach, and quarterback. If you have 3 great ones of them, you're going to go places in the NFL. And I can't say it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't either.
But all in all, what is your legit thoughts about this Thursday? That's one thing that's good. We don't got to wait till Sunday, all the misery, and we do got a game against the Giants. Do you think this could be a right the ship? And like I said, if we win this game, I'm not going to beat my chest. We're going to the Super Bowl. But is this a game that we kind of need because we saw bits and pieces against the Steelers and the Ravens? And could this be a game that we kind of put something together at all?
Yeah, I think it will be. I think it's going to be a beatdown because our defense, when they needed to get stops against that Baltimore Ravens team, it was actually unbelievable. The stops that they got when they needed to stop them, and the offense put up the points. And if we put those two things together against the New York Giants, yeah, it should be 35-6. But I'm not going to hold my breath or anything.
I totally agree. Listen, whenever I start to get a little hopeful, I always finish that sentence with "I'm not going to hold my breath," because we can't sit there and say we didn't see stuff like that fourth quarter. The way Carson was doing his stuff, again, the O-line was putrid, but we're not going to be that nervous of a Giants pass rush. Like, who do they got? But I mean, they could look good against our offensive line. But real quick, shout out to my guy Gate City Sports Talk, part of the Battle Birds podcast. He said Howie's going to pull off a blockbuster trade, 2 first-round picks to get Clayton Thorson back. I can't wait for the press conference. He did good. He did some good things back in camp in 2019. And you know how we are, a quarterback factory. We're just waiting to ship these guys off.
Quarterback. I just saw the screenshot. I think I was scrolling through pictures on my phone or something. I have it saved somewhere where it's a quote of from Doug Peterson that says we're trying to have 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league. But I still can't get over how stupid that quote is. Why would that be your goal? Why would that ever be your goal? That's not how you win football games. That makes no sense at all.
Exactly. Oh, let me get your take on this. What do you think the Eagles should do? Do you think the Eagles should bring somebody up? And if so, who? Because, do you feel comfortable going into this game with Boston Scott being your 1 and Cement being your 2?
No, I don't feel comfortable with that at all. I remember when Boston Scott had his little run. What was it, last season? I don't remember.
Giants. He had his 2 best games were against the Giants.
And I was the one with the unpopular opinion. I was like, I don't see it from Boston Scott. I'm not that impressed. You know what I mean? No, he can't do anything against a good defensive line. Not with this offensive line anyway. So the Holyfield guy, I haven't seen much of him. I know people talk about him sometimes. If he's a big, strong runner, yeah, why not? Because you're going to face all 5 defensive linemen every time you touch the ball. You might as well.
Yeah, but yeah. it gets to the point where, but like, look, real talk though, if we lose this game to the Giants, then even a guy who's as optimistic as me, we really got to start trying to think of a sell package. Do I think we should tank? No. I'm always not trying to go to my TV on Sunday seeing the guys not give effort, but I do think we should get some of the guys out of here to soften up the cap and just kind of start over. It sucks having a guy who's 27 in his 5th year. You thought you were being able to plan better to start really taking off with him, but it is what it is. If we lose to the Giants, and now the next excuse is going to be, well, Zach Ertz and Miles Sanders wasn't here, so now we're at an all-time low. But it's like, are we going to get healthier? We keep thinking we're getting healthier, but we're getting worse.
Yeah, it's not getting healthier. More guys just keep getting injured. Do you think Carson Wentz put on a dad bod like people are talking about? I remember the picture that first came out. I thought it was like I thought he was more muscular. I thought it looked like he was working out more. And then he comes out playing like that. I'm like, maybe that wasn't. You know what I mean? And does he look slower than he usually does?
Yeah, your take was exactly my take. I was like, all right, he's working out and stuff. Then the first 2 games, I'm like, bro, move. Bro, move.
Yeah, why aren't you moving out of the pocket? What's going on here?
Yeah, because listen, he was, again, the Steelers and the Ravens were all over him, but how many times did he avoid a sack and get the ball down the field? We didn't see that first 2 weeks of the season.
RB, did Doug really say he's not going to give up his play calling duties because he likes to do it?
Yeah.
What?
No, he said his I think his exact words is that's his favorite part about the job.
Well, you're not good at it. What? Oh my goodness! Like somebody could be pissing in coffee at Dunkin' Donuts. Like, yeah, this is my favorite part of the job is serving the coffee. Well, you're pissing in the cups, bro.
Stop it, right? Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, hey, like I said, at least the game's Thursday, so we don't got many more days to really figure out, is this team just going to show some type of faith? And like you said, and people say, do you really want to win the NFC least? Yeah, because at the end of the day, I have my first goals is to be better than the Cowboys, the footballers, and the Giants.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And again, I would love Carson to get experience in the playoffs, whether it's win or lose, as long as he just don't get knocked out on a cheap shot or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I want to see too. I want to see Carson play in the playoffs, not get a cheap shot on his way out. And honestly, I've always believed in Carson Wentz. I didn't watch him in 2017 to just think that he's not good anymore. So I feel like as long as you have him on your team, you got a shot at beating a lot of teams. We had a shot at beating the Baltimore Ravens. You know what I mean? We had a shot at beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. So squeaking into the playoffs, you still got Carson Wentz. And if you got Dallas Goedert and those guys that you mentioned, you know, you might be able to make some noise.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, and if they're like, again, will I have Super Bowl aspirations if we win 8 or 7 games and get into the playoffs in this bad division? No, but it's all part of the way to get better, to get Carson a playoff tough loss, like how this was. We lose by missing a 2-point conversion. That's crucial for a guy like Carson. So next time he's there with real talent or a different circumstance, he doesn't feel the pressure, like, ooh, the jitters and stuff like that. Like, it goes a long way. But I see so many people like, let's tank, let's get Lawrence, or let's tank for a receiver. I want that, but right now, my first round pick is an offensive lineman or a linebacker. Like, I don't know about you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if they need a linebacker more or an offensive lineman. I can't decide which. Ethan Wanger says, what can be done to resolve these issues aside from injuries? And that's it, the offensive line and the linebacking core. And you need more than, even if you tank and get a top draft pick and take the best offensive lineman out of Alabama or wherever, that's not going to fix it. You need 3 of them. You need 4 of them. None of them are good.
Yeah. And the sad part is the one guy who's actually been pretty good, this is probably his last year. So everybody else has been hurt. The guy who's staying is leaving next year, most likely, Jason Kelsey. So we got to replace him. And again, Isaac Seumalo, who hasn't been injury prone, he's legit. He's not a superstar. He's not the Lane Johnson or the Brandon Brooks, but he's solid. Brandon Brooks, I love him, but we're starting to not be able to count on him. It's starting to be another day, another bone.
Yep. It all starts with it. The biggest issue is the offensive line. Every team starts with that. No team with a bad offensive line wins football games.
Correct. Like we always used to talk about, let's not talk about them this year because they lost D-Hop. But look at the Texans offense last year. They had a good quarterback. They had a number one target. They always won games in the season, but they lose because eventually the bad offensive line is going to catch up to you. You know what I mean? And then the teams that win are the Drew Brees who get protected, Tom Brady when he's protected, Aaron Rodgers when he's protected.
Yep.
I'm playing. Shout out to CW Gearhead said, for the $5 super chat. He said, I wonder if Diller is sweating about a spot with Mulata working his tail off at left tackle. How do you feel about Mulata?
Yeah, it's surprising, man. You know, a lot of people talked bad about him when he first came up here, and how, you know, that's the thing too. People were always like, you know, we got 3 rookies starting, so we're done for. Like, I mean, I don't know. Some of them might be good. You know what I mean? Like, they're rookies, but they're still good enough to get in the NFL. So I never know what to expect until I see someone playing. It's nice that he's been shining like that. A little bit of a bright spot on that offensive line.
Yeah. Hey, I was kind of hyped when I saw Jalen Hurts and that quarterback. He hiked the ball, threw it to Carson. I saw Carson look downfield, but there was no one probably open, and he just threw it back to Jalen Hurts for like a 3-yard gain. But I was like, that would have been something nice, because you would think once Jalen throws it to Carson, if they're not paying attention, which is a good defense, they paid. You know, they start the step down to come get the receiver, which is Carson, but there was nothing there. But
no, that's a stupid play call. You don't do a flea flicker against that Baltimore Ravens defense. Like, they're sitting back there laughing. Nobody moved. Nobody bit on anything. They were like, "Are you guys serious, bro?" Then he throws it back to them. They're all like, "Okay, go ahead."
And then he goes back to him. They were playing hot potato with the ball.
Oh, I couldn't believe that play. Oh my goodness, man. Doug's trying to force Jalen Hurts on the field now with these trick plays, and it's probably Howie in his ear because Howie drafted him, and now it's not benefiting the team at all. I really don't think it is.
Nah, I mean, like I said, in the first quarter where we couldn't get no separation, and the 2 times that players got separation, they dropped balls, and that Miles Sanders drop broke me just as much as the Hightower one.
Yeah,
because he just don't do that.
No, that's crazy that he turned, faced the ball, hit both of his hands. I can't get over that one. He made some incredible catches last season. I don't know how he dropped that. But yeah, honestly, with Miles Sanders out, I'll put Jalen Hurts at running back. Seriously, RB1, Jalen Hurts.
Hey, we gonna justify this pick today.
He can run the ball, and he's big.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, I want to say this. I saw this on a play by the Philly Pod. I didn't get to watch the All 22. It comes out tomorrow. But there was a play where Davion Taylor was in the game, number 52, the guy everybody wanted to see, the young guy who barely played through college and high school and stuff. He got raw talent, but he just doesn't. He has to learn the game of football a little bit more. They did a fake running back. They did an RPO, fake it to the running back, and Lamar got to the outside. Of course, him being young, he bit on the running back. But this guy had the speed to track Lamar down and get him where I don't care who it was, they weren't getting him because that's what he offers. He ran like a four. I don't want to say, but it's fast. He was faster than some wide receivers. He'll beat JJ Arcega-Whiteside in the race. And you want that in this new era, the Kyler Murrays, the Deshaun Watsons, the Lamar Jacksons, the Josh Allen. So
yeah,
interesting to see how many more snaps he gets on the field.
I did like that one play where it was like a fake end around, right? And Miles got the draw up the middle. That's the one that went for 70-some yards, I think. So it's a good decoy because he can run the ball and then you can use him. But I don't think at the end of the day, Doug is actually creative enough to keep that going. He's eventually gonna run it into the ground or like try to run an RPO on the goal line for 2 or something like that. Like he's eventually gonna overdo it.
Yeah. And like I said, when they bring him in for packages to run, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. But then again, like you're telling the defense you're running the ball because you haven't really thrown with him. He threw in 1 pass so far. So it kind of like, well, here we are. We're going to run with Jalen Hurts. So until they start doing something, but then here we go. He completes a couple passes on lackadaisy defense because they are selling out for the run. And all of a sudden that he's way better than Wentz, according to the average Philly fan and stuff like that. But shout out to Gay City Sports. He said, being serious, something is up between our strength and conditioning, practice routine, and off-season approach. I just don't know what else would explain this amount of injuries. 7 offensive linemen, 3 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and a running back. Like, that is disgusting.
Yeah. I was starting to think about that a little deeper too. Like, that's how I am. I need a reason for something. Like, why is this happening? Is it really like, are they just go, they go to practice, they like don't stretch, they eat like potato chips and drink soda. Like, what are they just not in shape? Any player on this team, and they just tear ACLs and ankles, and I don't know. I can't figure it out.
It's something. If there's one thing we should have learned from Chip Kelly was the smoothie recipe. We should have remembered the smoothie recipe because he's sitting back at home just drinking smoothie. Well, he coaches for college, don't he?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I remember San Francisco hired him for 1 year. I can't fathom why anybody would do that after what he did to that guy. Was just too arrogant. You know what I mean? He thought he was going to change the NFL. I'm going to come in here with my college style offense, except I'm going to select players that don't make any sense for that all. I'm going to trade for Sam Bradford when my style is a mobile quarterback.
Could you imagine if he got that Mariota trade off? Remember, it was like Fletcher Cox. It was a bunch of guys, a bunch of picks too.
Right, but he couldn't get that, so he decided to trade for Sam Bradford. That was just crazy. And then he signs DeMarco Murray, who's a north-south runner, and uses him in short field sweeps all season. Nothing he did make sense.
Facts. Shout out to Eric R. He said Doug reflects on his play calling. I don't get it. It worked on Madden.
Yeah, exactly. No, that wouldn't even work on Madden.
No. Them RPOs don't work on Madden because if you play online, they send it all out blitzes all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can make defensive adjustments on Madden. We don't do that either.
Yeah. But like you said, I want to see again. I think down the stretch of last year, we saw Carson Wentz get back to audible in the ball a lot, doing stuff like that. Maybe we need some more. I like when we get up tempo. When we get up tempo and let Carson call the plays at the line, there's stuff we got to do. But it's just, man.
That 2000, I remember that 2000, his rookie season. I remember a game where John Gruden was announcing the game on TV, and he was talking about how great Carson Wentz is and how great he can be. And they were running 5 wide receiver sets, and he was just moving them down the field, just picking guys left and right like it was easy.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way he lost all of that.
No, definitely not. And it just comes to the fact is what is really going on. And like I said, when everybody was blasting Carson, and when you look at his stats overall, he still got them 9 glaring interceptions. But to me, I'm like, it's uncharacteristic of him because of the fact that you're talking about a guy for the last 3 years had 7 or under, which he's the only quarterback in NFL history to do it for 3 years in a row, 7 or under, while throwing at least 20 or more touchdowns. So the thing is, like, if he's going to struggle in something that we're used to seeing him struggle with, which is his fumbles. But for him to come out and be an interception machine, we haven't seen that. Even if you say he hasn't been the same in 17, 18 and 19, he wasn't an interception guy. So something's really up with this whole, again, Howie, Doug, Carson, coaching staff, Press Taylor, all these guys who sit there and get a paycheck just to be like, hey, Doug, keep up the good work.
Yeah. Yeah, this year's the first year we saw Carson Wentz make throws that we were just like, you watch the replay and you're like, oh, that was just a terrible throw. Like, nobody's used to him just making terrible throws.
So you take what RB said, Chiefs now above 250 yards rushing. Andy Reid sees what is working and sticks with it. Guess Doug never got that part from him. Yeah, well, see, I think Andy came a long way with just, stop being stubborn and say he'll pass the ball when he needs to, but if he needs to run the ball, he will. Something that Doug Peterson proved that he's not going to do. And I even said, if Miles Sanders don't run the ball, get him involved. There's times that Alvin Kamara don't run the ball, but he's still involved, and he has that potential to be that Swiss Army knife like a Kamara. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's as good as Kamara, but he got that potential. And I want to call him a great wide receiving back. I can't really say that after the drop, but I still believe he is. But in that Rams game, when Carson did one of them never see kind of passes before, that double move that Miles Sanders did on a safety or whoever it was, that was wide receiver-ish.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, I mean, last year he was one of our only deep threats. No, but going back to Andy Reid, it's another thing where somebody leaves Philadelphia and they're better. Like he people talk about like, oh, Philadelphia ran him out of town. You guys don't like anybody good. Like, he wasn't coaching the way he's coaching right now for us. He just wasn't. He was pass happy. He was shotgun on the 10-yard line type of stuff. He was LaShawn McCoy finishing games with 9 carries. Like, he was not coaching like this. Now he's using 3 running backs. He's running. I mean, it's just not even the same guy.
Yeah, this is what really probably happened. Philly take with RB's right. So he said, I guess on a 2-point conversion, Doug was waiting for Carson to come to him and say, you want Philly? And I think Carson went to him and didn't say nothing. So he was like, we'll just do RPO. I don't know. But to me, that was the most wild thing. Like, I'm doing my play-by-play. I'm just like, it was over before it started.
I think it's gonna be the whole season. There's gonna be things Doug Peterson does that we're blown away by. I mean, I remember when I was watching Philly 500, his live stream during the Bengals game, and when they brought the punt team out, he was freaking out. He's like, "What are they doing? The punt team's on the field. The punt team's on the field." He was screaming. I'm like, "Yo, I think this guy's always gonna do something that baffles people."
Yo, he woke up right away. And listen, he like WIP is his confession time, because he always says something stupid. Like, listen, he punted it, right? Don't get me wrong. I did not agree with that. I know you didn't. I know a lot of people didn't, right? And they're like, well, look at the tie now. At this point, it doesn't matter. Show the team you got some guts, some courage. Here's my thing. He wakes up, he does WIP early, and he's like, yeah, I probably should have never did that. Well, at least you did it already. At least stick with it for a couple days. Maybe talk about it later, but you can't wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning the next day like, yeah, I did it wrong. And the same thing with this. He wakes up in the morning like, yeah, we ran out of plays. I should have called a timeout, but I didn't.
I don't even know what that means. You ran out of plays. What does that mean? Like, he only picks a certain amount of plays at a time, and then he goes through them one by one, and then I have to call this one. It's the only one I got left.
It's the next available. Yeah. He said they ran out of plays, and he should have called a timeout so they could have thought a better play up.
Wow.
I was like, when you hear your head coach say that, it's sickening. And like I said, I'm in between. Listen, my eyes don't deceive me. I love what Doug did early in his career here, but what he's showing me, I'm not a blind witness. Like, I can't be a blind witness. I see stuff that I'm just like, bro, I can't defend it. And then he comes on the radio like, defend it. I just want him to say something, even if he tries to lie. Like, listen, we thought we could have did this. He comes out like, man, I didn't have any more plays, and I kind of should have called a timeout. What?
Yeah.
Bro, that's not professional.
Yeah, it's wild, man. Yeah, I don't know. He's like Brett Brown, except he's not good at lying. Like, Brett Brown at least could put all kinds of creative words together and sound like Shakespeare, you know what I mean? And say something deep, and you don't even know what he meant, but it sounded good. Doug is just like, I don't know. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Listen, I always go into Doug press conferences with questions. I have 6 questions I want to get answered. I come out, now I got 8 questions, and I got 2 more questions I want to ask, and I got none of them answered.
It's fun. They're fun to watch, honestly, because he's pissed off the whole time. It's like he's mad that he even has to answer questions. It's so funny to watch. I'm like,
man. But hey, listen, this is a team we love, the team that we're never, no matter how much they put us through, we never going to give up. And yeah, just thank God we're not in the NFC West, or we really be like, this is for experience then. Because listen, I still holding out. Now I'm going to watch this game against the Cowboys, which is going to be coming on soon. And listen, I'm going to learn a lot from this game, because the Cardinals, they're not the best, but they're not the worst. They don't got Chandler Jones, and that's their best pass rusher. So we're going to see how Andy Dalton handles this fire. But like I said, I'm just nervous that if he plays more of a game manager, they go back to Zeke and they play a little bit better in general.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think Andy Dalton, is slept on. He was good in the beginning of his career, and then that team fell apart, and he looked like trash. But he can look good on that team.
Yeah,
but their defense is horrendous.
I agree 100%. He said, judging the interview, he was referring to the possession, not the playbook. I guess they had so many locked and loaded for the possession, Still, you call timeout. Yeah, man. But he just don't say that. His exact words, we exhausted all options. That's what his exact words.
To the point where you're in the most important part of the game and you have no plays to run except for this. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's rough. But like I said, we're going to learn a lot from this Cowboys game, and we're going to learn a lot about this team against the Giants. We come over here and squeak an overtime win. What do you feel about that? The Giants take us to overtime and we win by a field goal. How do you feel about that?
I don't think that would be a victory. This team needs to beat the Giants convincingly. If they're going to overtime with the Giants, then it's just as bad as we thought it was.
You are what we thought you were.
Or what we thought they were.
Yeah. And you heard Doug Peterson said today, he was like, you keep talking. Somebody said to him, you keep talking about all this fight and you're one play away. But at the end of the day, you're 1-4-1. And he was all like, yeah, we're playing like a 1-4-1 team. And he just kind of kept it like that. Like, huh? Are we playing like that? Or are you coaching like that? Like, it's both. It's the best. You can't take it one way, not the other. But it's a wake-up call coming on Thursday. I'm either going to be pissed off at Friday at work, or I'm going to be like, well, maybe I'm going to be able to enjoy the rest of the football season to a minimum because we're going to be tug of war with Dallas.
I don't see us playing terrible against the Giants. Like with Travis Fulgham breaking out like this, and Carson playing like he played last week with that third and fourth quarter performance. John Hightower beating people down the sideline, Greg Ward catching balls. I think we should put up points against the Giants. I don't see it being a hard game.
He said we need a big offseason across all Philly sports. We just need a break. He's like, we need a break.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's bad, dude. Even the Phillies. I mean, you sign Bryce Harper and you think that's going to fix everything. Now you got a $300 million man and your team still stinks because you didn't do anything else. The Sixers, the Eagles, we got the worst front offices all in one city.
Yeah. And it's going to come down to, again, like you said, we should be able to try to handle the Giants, but you do think that losing Miles Sanders, and again, we already have all these losses on the line in the skill positions, and we do got TF13, but Miles, who should always be a focal point, and even though I don't think we use him like that, don't you think the defense comes in like we got to try to slow down Miles if they use him, or slow down Zach? So it is going to be an even taller task with no Zach, because now we're really going to rely on Kroom, Rodgers, and this receiving core.
Yeah, for sure. Jalen Williams, do you really think we're favored against the Giants? Yeah, I do. It doesn't matter if we got guys on IR or anything. We got Carson Wentz and TF13, and the Giants stink. So,
yeah, I think is this a home game? Do you know, or does anybody in the chat know? Is this another home game?
Yeah, we had 3 in a row starting last week.
All right, so yeah, we're going to be favored at least by 3. Oh yeah, we already are. We're favored by I think 3.5 or 4 to start. The IR is going to come out. I don't think it's going to change it much, but I'm gonna get ready to get this. You going to watch the Cowboys game?
Yeah, I'm up out of here. I was gonna. Yeah, what is it? 8:00? Yeah, I'm up out of here.
Definitely. So before you go, say your piece on the little short-term future of the Eagles, and then we say it. We out.
We are just above mediocre, in my opinion. Meaning we put up a fight against good teams. We're going to play down to our competition when we play bad teams, but we're not going to lose to the Giants. But it's going to be one of those things where we fight our hearts out against great teams, and then we show up against the Giants and the Cowboys, and it's a battle no matter what. But I still think with what we looked like on offense the last 2 weeks, and if the defense can play like they played last week, at least getting those stops when they needed to get them, we should have no trouble against the Giants and the Cowboys. That's what I think. I think we're going to be just good enough to be, 4-11-1, 5-10-1. Is my math right?
If you say we beat just say we beat the Giants, Cowboys, bye week, and Giants, we're already 4-1 then there. So
yeah, but I mean, as soon as we play, who do we play after that? Do we play the Chiefs? Do we play the Saints? Do we play as soon as we play teams that aren't the Cowboys or Giants, it's going to be the same story the rest of this season.
Yeah. Hey, real quick before we go, shout out to Mac 10. He said, Philly Mike, when I first clicked on your live, I thought you was live with Aaron Rodgers. No lie, no cap.
I get Aaron Rodgers. I get Enzo Amore from WWE. and my girlfriend is making me do a couple's costume for a Halloween party, and I said I want to be Aaron Rodgers. So you got to be like, I don't know, Aaron Rodgers' wife or something. Does he have a wife? Like I want to shave the beard and go just the mustache and a Packers jersey, whatever his hair is like. I don't know, or a Packers hat forward or something. Yeah, but she's not gonna let me do that. But it'll be fun to people say I look like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he came through and said it. Like I said, if you don't know who this guy is, I'm pointing to my left, which is probably your right watching. Anyways, he goes by DJ Eastwood, host of the Running Back Podcast. Make sure you check out his YouTube channel, does Eagles and Sixers. And for those on his channel who don't know I go by Philly Mike, host of the Philly Talk Podcast. All we ask is watch a video. If you like it, bang. If you don't, well, thanks for the view, my guy.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. That's all we got.
That's all we got. And we'll be keeping it hopefully more positive after Thursday and the rest of this week. Until next time, you guys know what time it is.